the account of the Lord healing a person with leprosy. I suppose you cannot relate to this passage because you have never come across anybody with leprosy or seen or what those people go through with those who have leprosy, what gate they go through. But I can. In my second parish in India, there was a leprosy hospital. And sisters in the convent next door used to work in that hospital. One of them, Sister Carmen, might be online this moment, joining us from Spain. She was working in that hospital. And my own sister worked for leprosy patients for over 30 years. So I used to visit my sister and her patients in the hospital. So I have seen with my own eyes what a person with leprosy looks like. The fingers gone, the nose gone, disfigured. More than that, it is emotional isolation. What do I mean? Especially in the south of India, where there are still cases of leprosy, where my sister worked. There, my sister would tell me, once a person catches leprosy, the family would leave this person in the hospital and they will never come back. Never ever. The social stigma. This person may be cured, may be healed completely, but the family would not come back to take him or her home. So this patient knows this is where I am going to live and die. I would never see my loved ones again. The living dead. Maybe from a rich family. But with this illness, this sickness, her life has ended in a hospital with the sisters in the convent, those who are looking after them. The isolation, being rejected, being an outcast. In Jesus' time, it was worse than that. They could never come to any society. They were outside the camp. They could never come to any society where people are gathered. No, they have to, even if they come, we have to shout, unclean, unclean, and people run away from this. People with the leprosy, they would run away. More than that, this is very important. The Jews believed leprosy is a curse from God. So the person who has caught leprosy has been cursed by God. So this leprosy is an outward sign of a curse God has put on this person. That is all the more painful. Being a social outcast, a spiritual outcast, and being thought of as a sinner, cursed by God. Now you will understand in this passage there's a word which should really touch you. Because here we read, Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him. Unthinkable. Unthinkable. The people standing there would have looked at this with horror. He has touched a leper. Nobody would ever do that. People run away, and here is the Lord touching a person with leprosy. Unthinkable. And that touch, it was a heavenly touch. That person, after many, many years, maybe first time in his life, somebody really touched him. The first human touch, in this case, a divine touch. That's why I said that word, the Lord touched him. The Lord touched him. People run away from him, and here is the Lord almost embracing him with all tenderness and compassion. Now let us turn to the parable in this miracle. Every miracle is a parable. So don't listen to any miracle as a passage of, there are so many miracles in the Gospels. But no, every miracle is a parable. Only because they are parables, the Gospel writers have bothered to put them there. Because remember, this happened, but the message is more than the healing. What is the parable in this account of the miracle? Who are the people with the leprosy? Here is the Lord reaching out and touching a leprous world, a sinful world, a world that is lost. In the person of Jesus, God reached out and touched this leprous world, the sinful world, the heavenly touch. And note this too. He is touching everyone who acknowledges that he or she is leprous. But acknowledging is that you realize that I need the healer. That I am sick, I need the doctor. Only if you realize and acknowledge I am sick, I need the doctor, that person will feel the hand of God from heaven coming down to touch him and touch her. And note this too, nobody is beyond the touch of God. It's a very consoling message, comforting message, very encouraging message that nobody is beyond the merciful, healing touch of God. Nobody. The worst sinner on this earth? You can't be beyond the mercy of God. Whatever be your failures, your shortcomings, you can never be beyond the merciful touch of God. It should give you encouragement, hope, and peace. That whatever be your failures, your shortcomings, you are never beyond the mercy of God. Only one thing you and me have to do: acknowledge, admit, I am sick. I need the healer. I need the healer. Lord, would you reach out and touch my soul?